To run tubeless on the road, you need specific tyres, and for the best performance, rims too. But because of the lower pressures needed for cyclocross, I've had real success converting standard rims and tyres to tubeless. You just need electrical tape, a tubeless valve, and some sealant. And potentially a little bit of patience too, but I think the payoff is absolutely worth it. Now we'll go into tyre and rim choices later on, but I'm just going to be using my setup that I used all last winter and that I need to reseal now for this winter. So it's just a Mavic Caesarium wheel that's seen better days and a Ritchie Shield tyre, neither of which have anything officially to do with tubeless. Firstly, let's look at the premise. This tyre needs to become airtight on this rim. Now the sealant takes care of a lot of it, but we need to create a tight seal between the tyre and the rim to get us started. Otherwise, we'll be left pumping vigorously and nothing will happen, which is never a good thing, right? We need to build up the rim bed using electrical tape. Each layer of tape slightly increases the diameter of the rim, which makes the tyre then sit slightly tighter. Now, some tyre and rim combinations are always going to be too loose, but be patient and you can pretty much get most of them to work. You can buy bespoke products like Stan's rim tape, but this is the Ghetto version, and so standard electrical tape will work. Now, as a secondary benefit, the electrical tape also helps to seal the rim, making it airtight. So simply start taping, keep it tight, but don't stretch it, and just push it into the well of the rim. Tape straight on over the valve hole. We'll deal with that a little bit later on. Before you start, make sure you've got a full roll, otherwise you'll have to get another one. That's only 2 layers, to be fair. It's not like I've been there half an hour. Now, as you keep on going, you'll notice that the side walls of the rim start to look slightly smaller. And at some point, we've then just got to bite the bullet and see whether or not we've created a tight enough rim bed. So take your tyre and just seat one side of it. You'll know if it's tight because you can just get it on using only your fingers. Right then, next step, find the valve hole and very gently insert a pick through the electrical tape. Now make sure you get your tyre out of harm's way first. And just insert it very gently. Don't enlarge the hole in any way. You just want the valve to sit really tightly through that electrical tape. Just pop the valve in. That's pretty tight. Keep it quite loose on the rim. That's going to help us seat the tyre later on. And then start to put the second one on. Now we're at crunch time. If you've got valves with removable cores, then you can pop all of the bead on. And you really should have valves with removable cores. It makes it much easier. Once all the bead's on, you can then start to inflate the tyre with the valve core removed, and you can see whether it's sealed. But if you haven't got removable valve cores, and we haven't this time, then we're going to insert sealant into the tyre at this point. Now, what sealant you use is really, really important and does have a bearing on how well set up your Ghetto tubeless is going to be. So search around online for the best stuff. I'm actually using stuff that my mate John made, genuinely. Now, be generous here. You want to put at least 60 mils in. And then very carefully rotate the wheel through 180 degrees so that the liquid latex sealant now sits down there in the sealed bit of tyre. And then try and get the rest of the bead on. Right, tighten the valve down firmly. Give the wheel a good spin to make sure the sealant is spread evenly. And then it's just a case of trying to pump it up. Now, what if it doesn't inflate? Well, firstly, how hard are you actually pumping? You've got to give it some serious welly in order to try and get the tyre to seat. But if it's still not working, then you might have to go back to square one and start reapplying electrical tape to build up that bed of the rim. There are, however, a couple of other things that you can try and do first. Firstly, apply soapy water to the bead of the tyre in the hope that that creates a temporary seal that then means that you can inflate the tyre. Secondly, if you give the tyre a roll along the ground to try and coat the bead of the tyre in sealant as well. Back to square one. Whatever you do, be really careful now taking the tyre off because it's full of sealant. If you're gentle, then you can probably keep the sealant in there so you don't waste any of it. just wipe all the sealant off the inside of the rim so you can then reapply more electrical tape. Now we've added the spaff. Booyah! Right, it's going up, it's going up. Make sure that you have a look, see that the bead is on the rim properly, so it's not going to blow off. You can see that there's air still coming out, but not that much. So just inflate to about 50 psi, and then try and work out if you need to do any adjustments. I need to screw the valve in a bit tighter. We're sealed. Right. Now, it's likely that this is still going to be leaking air a little bit. So to help it seal, I'm going to leave it completely horizontal, either leave the wheel resting over a bucket, or in this case, resting on a vise like that. And then that will allow all the sealant just to pool on one side and hopefully get it to seal. And then potentially you might need to re-inflate it and then flip it over and it'll do the same thing. But the latex will seal it now, which is a massive, massive relief. Now you can see air is still escaping, but I'm pretty confident that that's going to stop either now or if I re-inflate the tyre again. Now then, what if it's still not working for you? Well, you can try inflating the tyre quicker. Take it to a bike shop that's got an air compressor and use that. Or potentially a car garage with the same thing, although you will need to take a valve converter if you do that. And also be really careful that you're not inflating it so fast that you blow the tyre off the rim, which is really bad news. Some tyre and rim combinations just aren't going to work. So what are we looking for in the best equipment for going Ghetto tubeless? Now, rims first. Ironically enough, a tubeless specific rim isn't necessarily the answer, although those that have a different bead hook, like Stan's, Head or American Classics, do tend to work better. And then as for the tyres, well, skin wall tyres unfortunately aren't going to work as the sidewall is just too porous, so it needs to be a rubber sidewall like this one. Otherwise, all you're looking for is a tight fit on the rim, and unfortunately you can't tell that when you're buying it in the shop. That does lead me on to one last point, which is that you've got to be really careful if you're buying stuff specifically with the aim of going Ghetto tubeless. Now, far better, I think, in this case, to use old rims and old tyres and attempt to get them tubeless like this. Now, I had great fortune with these and they've worked brilliantly. And then I went out and bought new rims and new tyres with the specific aim of going tubeless, and it didn't work, which annoyed me no end. So to recap, build up the bed of the rim to create a really tight seal between the tyre and the rim. Insert your tubeless valve into the rim, then put 60 mils of the best sealant you can find in there. Fingers crossed it'll seal, and then inflate it to 50 psi to let it set. Now this probably seems like quite a lot of faff, and it can be. However, for cyclocross riding, not racing, where punctures can be an almost daily occurrence, it's been an absolute godsend, and I can't recommend it enough. Oh God, we've got spaff coming everywhere. John's Tyre Spaff, available in no good stores anywhere. To quickly get to all GCN's how-to videos, click on me.
And to subscribe, click on the face of experience.